pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jim Hayward from Christchurch.
Bow our head, be in the presence of the Lord for a moment. O Lord, our governor, bless the leaders of our land that we may be a people at peace among ourselves and a blessing to other nations of the earth. Lord, keep this nation under your care. Almighty God, our Heavenly Father, send down upon those who hold office in this village of Walton the spirit of wisdom, charity, and justice, that with steadfast purpose they may faithfully serve in their offices to promote the well-being of all people. Grant us grace that we may honor you with our substance, and remembering the account which we must give one day, may be faithful stewards of your bounty through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you.
How come you waited till I left to get the new chairs?
You're already down there. Can't write notes or anything down there.
Okay, sorry, just give me a second. Before we get started, I just have one quick letter to read and one. First of all, I'd like to express our deepest sympathy for Charlie Gregory and his family who passed away. He will be sorely missed. He was on our board for 4 years, and on the town board, he was going in his second term for 3 years. So very unexpected. Regarding that, I had a letter that I'm going to read. Dear Mayor Snow, I'd like to inform you of my resignation from the position of village trustee for the village of Walton. Effective time and date of this resignation is 8 a.m. June 28, 2018. I was honored to serve the people of the village of Walton as a village trustee for a short time since the election in March 2000. I look forward to working with you and the Board of Trustees on matters concerning the people of Walton. Joseph M. Setter. And as probably everybody knows, Joe Setter was asked by the town. He is now the supervisor for the town of Walton. So with that said, I have to, being the mayor, I have to appoint someone to fill the spot until next election, which will be in March. I'm appointing Dave Breeze. He agreed to come back for the short period of time for the next 9 months, I guess it is. And what will happen is next election, there will be another 1-year term for that position, for Joe Satter's position. And then the following year, we'll be back in our regular swing for 2 years. Okay, so we took care of that. First thing on the agenda is the public hearing. I need a motion to open.
Make a motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Misty, you want to read the...
Notice of public hearing. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing will be held by the Board of Trustees of the Village of Walton, Delaware County, New York, at the Village Hall, 21 North Street, Walton, New York, on the 9th of July, 2018, at 6 p.m. to hear public opinion amending Village Code to add 6 properties to the mixed-use district. All interested parties and citizens will be heard who are for or against this addition. A copy of the resolution is available for the inspection at the office of the village clerk during the business hours. By order of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Walton, dated June 5th, 2018, Jody L. Brown, Village Clerk.
Okay, this is regarding the mixed use on Stockton Avenue. There would be from where the castle is to the end right next to Henry Street where Giffords is. We've discussed this many times before. We came up with the final way that we figured would make everybody okay, is to make just that section of mixed use. And that's why we're having the hearing. So if anybody wants to have any public comment, I'll gladly listen.
Just first, should there be a sign-in for us to, I know customarily.
There should be.
Isn't there one? Oh,
There isn't. I apologize.
there isn't. Oh, sorry. Made a mistake.
No problem. but
She forgot to put it.
Just for your
Yeah,
purposes.
we're supposed to have one here. I always do.
CYA. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, mine's... So is there anybody that would like to make any comment regarding that? Keith, do you have any comment on that? No? Okay.
I'm glad to see you doing it.
Oh, okay, well,
Period.
all right.
Make a
Nate?
motion, we close the public hearing?
Yep, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Now we need a
Make a motion that we approve the proposed
mixed-use
mixed-use
proposal.
district.
Yeah. Need a second on that?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. We gotta do the abstracts too. Okay, thank you, sir. Sorry about that. The next thing, everybody's had a chance to look at the abstracts and have any questions? If not,
Thank you.
I need a motion to approve the abstracts.
Looked them all, they look pretty good, so I'll make a motion to approve the abstracts.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Next, number 2 on the list is public input. Does anyone care to take a minute to say anything? If not, if you do, have a chance now. If not, we'll move on to the next item. Okay, next item, department heads, Bill Brown.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Bill.
Hello, Mr. Brown.
Couple things to touch base on tonight. At the wastewater plant, we are looking to move forward with the grit screw replacement project, something we've been talking about for some time now. It's a piece of equipment that hasn't worked in probably over a year anyway. We put out bids to replace the piece of equipment. We got 3 bids that were received on July 5th, ranging from $94,000 to $117,500. We had estimated the project cost to be in the range of $80,000 to $100,000, so we're kind of in that range. The village had moved forward with a ban earlier this year to have funding in place for this project and also replacement of the influent pump at the plant. Senator Bonasek's office assisted in securing $50,000 in grant funds to go towards this project. So we're recommending that the village award the grit screw replacement project contract VW1 G18 General Construction to Vacri Construction Corporation of Binghamton, New York for the base bid price of $94,000. Vacri was the contractor that did the water mains here in the village in 2010 to 2012. They do water and wastewater work. We've worked with them in a few different places, so we're recommending the award go to them, the low bidder.
Need a motion for that?
The remainder of that's in the budget, right? We budgeted for it. And make a motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
The other one's kind of a sister resolution to that, to authorize the mayor to sign the notice of award, notice to proceed, and agreement for the project.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
We do have an application to fill out with NYSEG to try to get a rebate on some lighting repairs. When we did the last round, the village had spent about $10,000 to replace lighting in the sludge building. I think we got 1,100 or 1,200 back. This time, there was $20,000 spent for lighting in the Seabud building. So hopefully we can get 1,000 or 2,000 back towards that. Water system evaluation. The village put in an application 3 years ago now to replace water mains along some of the side streets. That project wasn't awarded funding in the initial round. That program is carried through, and they're up to the 4th round now. Applications were released July 1st. it may be something worth looking at. I know there's some issues with the tanks that we've discussed over the last couple of months, and there may be some other needs throughout the water system. This program can provide funding for 60% of your project costs through a grant, and the remaining 40 would be, financed through a loan. When we did the other project through USDA, it was before this program was in place. There was about 10% grant was what was awarded to the village for that project. So, if there are needs, this may be an opportunity to get, those needs to address at a subsidized cost for the village. So, Shepherd Street, nothing really new there, just trading paperwork back and forth with DASNY. The project, the village submitted applications to Delaware County Soil and Water Conservation District earlier this year to install the grade control measures in the streams to try to reduce the possibility of the washouts during flood events and storm events. A series of those, we put in an application for 12 sites where there's utility crossings. Soil and Water is looking to move forward with 3 to 4 of those sites this year, and then hopefully carry that through in subsequent years. So in an effort to protect village infrastructure. One additional project that we've talked about and Steve's talked about for the last couple of months. Catskill Watershed Corporation has funding available for property owners to conduct feasibility studies to look at floodproofing their properties, particularly in the Delaware Street corridor. 5 properties were identified and applications were submitted. CWC wanted to see them come through a municipality. 5 properties submitted applications, or the village submitted applications on behalf of those 5 properties, them being the Walton Bus Garage, the Big M, Danny's Restaurant, Wayne Bank, and LB 137, which is the property next to Wayne Bank. CWC awarded funding to the village to conduct feasibility studies for those properties to go in and try to see if there's a way to floodproof them, whether that's, putting in different barriers, raising utilities up, different things to make the building more resilient, so if and when there is a flood, the building's not devastated as much as it would be, during an event where you didn't have these facilities. So $5,000 is allocated to each building. That was what was awarded by CWC to conduct the studies. We prepared an agreement for Delaware Engineering to prepare those studies and submit them to CWC, and then if the property owner chose to go forward, they could look to apply for funding to try to implement, whether it's putting in floodgates or different measures. CWC has a different funding track to go towards implementation projects. So this is kind of the initial phase of that project. It's tied to the local flood assessment that the Walton Flood Commission put together several years ago. This is one of the things in that flood assessment, was looking at your commercial corridor and trying to make your buildings more resilient so we can keep them there. So we would request that the village authorize an amendment to our contract to move forward with the feasibility studies for those projects or those properties at the total cost of $25,000, 5,000 times 5 properties.
Teresa made the motion. Need a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Just so everybody knows that once we get these studies done, the idea between doing these studies is to get these buildings flood-proof on Main Street, so maybe we can get our businesses to start opening up over there and not have to worry about flooding so much.
Right.
And I think when we get the final cost in, if I'm not mistaken, we can probably get 75% of it from CWC, which would be a pretty good thing, and it would protect the buildings during floods.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry.
The last item, just to kind of touch base with the board on, is the New York State Department of Transportation TAP grant program. The mayor and myself attended a seminar a couple weeks ago now in Binghamton for this program. DOT has funding for transportation alternative through their transportation alternative program. basically sidewalks, pedestrian facilities, sidewalks, bike paths, things like that for people to walk around in a non-vehicular manner. So they have a program out right now to fund up to 80% of costs associated with sidewalks. We're initially scoping out a project to replace and repair sidewalks along Delaware Street in the areas that DOT didn't do last year to kind of fill in the gaps there. Also an extension up North Street and Benton Avenue, really geared towards the school. The part of the program is safe routes to school, improving the safety and accessibility of paths that kids essentially take to school. So those are North Street and Benton Avenue is kind of a target area from that standpoint, and then Delaware Street, Bridge Street, and running a leg down Water Street that currently doesn't have sidewalks, and a lot of times pedestrians are competing against cars for the same square footage, so that would certainly be a means of improving the safety there. And then also tying that in with the Water Street Reclamation Project, where a lot of material is planned to be taken out of that site. The question has been what to do with that site after that area has been reclaimed. There was what we call not information sessions, the meetings we had with the county planning department a couple months ago, that was at the fire department and at Soil and Water, where the community was invited in, and what do we want to do with downtown and Water Street and such, and there's discussions about putting in different trails and river walks and stuff like that. So the reclamation is underway, a project that Soil and Water is coordinating. This may be something that could come in after that, after the site's been set to its final grade, to put some paths and trails down there so the site has, beneficial use to the community, after it's been reclaimed. So kind
Is
of a
there a
twofold.
deadline on this program? Do you know that?
There is. It's August 16th, I believe. So we have some initial maps put together, and we're looking at cost estimates and looking at the requirements for the program and starting to fill out those applications. So probably at the August meeting we'll have kind of a more formal presentation to see if it's something you want to proceed with. But yeah, it is August, and it'd probably be. We wouldn't find out probably till the end of the year, and then it'll probably take a year to go through all the paperwork and planning and approvals. So it's probably
It's a 3-year project.
2020, construction. But this is, the initial phase of it. So again, it's an opportunity if the village chooses to, look to go that route. So that's it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. Thank you.
Chief? I know you were here.
Evening. Pulled that out before fall, didn't he?
Oh, I forgot all about it. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, I'm very patient. I have a couple things. First of all, the new camera system the installation's complete, and it's night and day, literally.
Yeah, I noticed it right away. when
It's
I was there.
amazing, the
Yeah.
difference, and that also helps us with liability. So glad that's done. There's been a couple glitches, and Kevin from ZS Security has come back immediately, like in the middle of the day and in the evening, to take care of them. So
Did the same at our fire station.
yeah, he's
really good.
that's a good business right there.
Yep.
Good business to deal with. Other things I have is Babcock and Williamson they're going to put themselves through a drug interdiction training in Buffalo. It's a 3-day course from July 24th to the 26th. The cost is $600 a piece, and they're going to pay their own way. The only thing that's kind of an issue, and I would ask the board to consider, is Babcock is scheduled to work the night of the 26th, and I would like to just substitute him, but pay that as a training day if that's possible, since he's willing to pay $600 of his own money to go.
Do we need a motion for that?
Yeah.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Please thank them both.
Yeah.
That continues August 2nd, Brian Lauser is going to a threat assessment and response in Oneonta. There's not going to be any cost to the village. There will be a shift coverage issue. And then the other one is Kevin Doig, our newest officer, is actually attending an off-duty or an active shooter training on his off-duty time on the 25th up in Hamden. So there's no cost for that at all.
We appreciate their dedication, yeah.
Active shooter, I thought they did, well, I know, but I thought they did active shooter training like on site where you're being trained at that, like the school versus a hospital versus this office? Or
They do, a lot of times they find any place they can. Because there are issues of public walking in during active shooter training, which causes serious
Not
concern,
good.
especially if they're armed. So a lot of times they'll find remote areas, and they're currently all over. Our guys have attended at least 3 active shooter trainings this year, so they're really on top of it. I do have a couple requests for purchases, all of which are budgeted. We requested the purchase of 2 new desktop computers to replace 2 that have been there since the PD started. That'd come in at a cost of $1,300, and it'd be purchased through ICL on Delaware Street. Second thing is 2 evidence cameras. They're simple little digital cameras. Those have been in service for almost 7 years. They've been kicked in and out of every patrol car since that time, and look it. So we'd like to replace those 2 at a cost of $300, and that would be through Radio Shack. And the final thing I have is our...
Before you go,
Yeah,
is
well,
there something
we-
else you wanted to buy?
There's one other thing.
Yeah, there's one
Are they
other
separate?
thing. No, we can do them together.
And then the last thing is our weapons requalifications are coming up.
Ammo.
What's that?
Ammo.
Ammo. We need ammo. Go figure. Buy bullets. It's hard to estimate that cost right now because of patrol rifle, and we budgeted $1,600 total for ammo for the year. I believe that we can do our recertifications for 8, leaving the remaining if we can get, for instance, Doig into the patrol rifle course. So those would be the things that I requested.
And all of those are in the budget.
Everything is budgeted, yes.
So I'll make the motion to allow the chief to make those purchases.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
That's it. Thank you.
Steve, I'm sorry, I was supposed to put you first. I feel about it. Come on.
Chief, that's the paper I was gonna
Feel
give
left
to you.
out.
Not that we, you know.
Thank you.
I figured you gotta go for the town meeting. I apologize.
said Steve.
No, he said chief, I see that. Does it go boom if it goes tight?
I'm thinking yes.
All right, you don't have any questions on my notes, so I'll cut right to the chase because I got to go to my other board meeting. 12 Bruce Street, I'm sure most of you, with the exception of Dave, probably saw my emails on 12 Bruce Street. My concern is that it is a collapse hazard. I'm not looking to haul the thing out of there because it's got to be dealt with as if it contained asbestos, whether it does or doesn't. I'm just looking to get it on the ground. I sought bids. The low bid was $1,300. I don't know if that's still good because at that time he was expecting to be transporting his excavator from point A to point B anyway, so he probably wasn't including that cost. The next highest bid was $15. Because there's been some time passed and I'm not sure that they're good, I'm sure that it would still be in the ballpark, but I would request to spend up to $1,800, give myself a little cushion there, up to $1,800 to get this thing on the ground.
And you've been in contact with the...
I've been in contact with the owners. They're crying the insurance blues.
But in the
saying-
same token, they're ready to write a check out.
At the same token, they're ready to write out a check.
It doesn't make sense.
For what,
I know.
The cost of
Just
taking
just
it
for the
down?
cost of taking it down, yes. They're ready to write out a check,
So will
so.
they
Well, why didn't they do that then? They're gonna get an administrative
Your
charge.
guess is as good as
Oh,
mine.
okay. Okay.
I explained to them that if we were going to do it, there's a 50% administrative fee, and I'll be darned if I'm going to be their project manager for them and say, oh, by the way, here's the highest bidder, go give them a call, after I've done all the legwork. That's just, I'm sorry, it's just that ridiculous. They own a property up here, they should be up here taking care of it.
So I'm a little confused, Steve. So how are we doing this? The village is going to do it and charge them the administrative fee?
Correct. The village will do
Rather
it.
than them doing it?
Correct.
Charge them the whole thing plus administrative fee.
Right, which they don't seem to have a problem with, which doesn't make sense to me, but
No.
if they're crying the insurance
We
blues.
talked about it, it's
yeah.
like, why haven't you done it then?
But, you know, the bottom line is that it is a collapse hazard. And I don't want to be sitting in front of a judge trying to explain why this thing fell on somebody's head.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Okay, and then the second issue, Water Street. As Bill just discussed, we're getting ready to do reclamation down there. I cruised through there a couple, 3 weeks ago now, and as is the usual case, contractors that are working in the area in the summertime, parking their vehicles down there, dumping off excess materials down there. At this point, it's counterproductive. I mean, we're trying to get stuff out of there, and yet we're still allowing, people to dump down there, whatever the case may be. I had a conversation with Matt. Basically, anything that looked like good materials, we got out of there. He has them stockpiled. If somebody comes to lays claim to it someday and says, where's my sand? We can point them in the right direction, but we've got it out of there. What I would like to do is purchase some no dumping and no parking signs, and basically go from where our property starts, just to the side of the cell tower, basically down to almost to the wellhead. Fairly close proximity to Water Street, and I'm thinking 5 would do it. So we need 5 posts, 5 no parking signs, and 5 no dumping signs.
What kind of things are they dumping?
There's anything from leftover asphalt to sand or gravel that they're using to put back in holes, whatever excavating they're doing, whatever the case.
They're just taking that upon themselves to do?
Yeah, they're just taking it upon them, and it's never been marked. We've never prohibited that in the past, but at this point, given that we're going to pay a whole lot of money to get rid of a whole lot of material down there, it doesn't make sense to let them keep doing it. So I talked to Matt, to the tune of $300, we can get basically 10 signs and 5 posts. I would ask authorization to do that.
I'll make the motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
That's all I got.
Thank you. Thank you, next meeting.
Thanks, Steve.
Wish Joe luck from us for everybody. William.
Did they start anything up at CVS? Did I see some
Yes, they did.
cut out up there?
They did cut out the bad spots. They were supposed to be there paving today. I swung by there this afternoon and they hadn't started paving
Yeah, I
yet,
just
so
saw the
I'm guessing they didn't make it today. but
Webster's doing it,
Yes,
right?
they're finally started over there.
Yeah,
anyway.
thank you for sticking with that.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Matt?
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Matt.
Bye, Matt.
Everyone get a copy of the report?
Thank you, thank you.
Are there any questions?
Seems the guys are pretty busy. A lot of stuff like that.
Yeah, street paving hit us, they gave us 2 days notice to get ready for that, so we'll just drop everything and do that.
Bowling alley, property looks nice.
Yeah. The bigger things we have to do this month are 2 sewer lateral installs. We just realized Friday we had a kind of a break or a separation in the lateral at 77 North. They were having problems with their sewer. We snaked it out. We cambered it and realized that one pipe's here and one pipe's here. Not really sure exactly what happened, but we're gonna have to dig down and get that fixed this week sometime. Luckily, it's they're only there on the weekend, so it wasn't a huge emergency on Friday. So
You did the one on Liberty Street, the manhole on Liberty Street. Was that the one that had the big leak?
yes, yep, we got that patched. We think it's gonna be a good fix, but
So So they should have seen less hopefully down at the wastewater treatment.
The water had receded anyway, so there wasn't any water coming out of it at the time, which was actually good for us.
So when it does, when the rain comes and everything else.
You'll know in the spring probably
Yeah.
at least, and we'll keep looking at it and inspecting it, but we think we got a good fix on it.
Good, thanks.
Is the North Street issue a homeowner issue or a village?
No, it happens to be on our side. So, and it's right in the street. So we'll get to it and take care of it.
It's for, 77.
77.
Now we said
Do you want to do
first.
it this one? He's here. Do you want to do it this one?
Yeah, while you're here, I've already talked to him about it. Let me just.
Please look at that. You're gonna bring up about the VFD too, that you need?
Oh yeah, real quick, it's not on here because it just came up, but Austin Lincoln well number 2, we had a frequency drive burnout. So that well, I remember talking to you about it, there was something wrong with it. Our guy looked at it. Basically the well is not usable right now without that frequency drive. So it needs to be replaced. I asked him a price, he hasn't gotten back to me, but he estimates around $3,000. Which I'm sure there is money
In the
water fund
Yeah, the
for
water
that,
fund, yeah.
for emergency. Without Jody being here to ask her, I can't tell you for exact, but I'm sure there is.
Yeah,
And we're pretty early in the budget year
yeah, we're
anyways.
good for that, I know. Okay, well,
It's not like we can go without it.
yeah, we have to go with emergency. While you're here, I'm just gonna read a letter. Dear Village Board, on September 2017, I wrote a letter to the board requesting the sidewalk in front of my house located at 32 South Street be addressed as it was a safety hazard. My letter and sidewalk was discussed at your board meeting October 2nd, 2017. After your meeting, Matt discussed with me your temporary solution to remove the bluestones and put in grindings. I was not overly fond of this idea, but accepted it because temporary solution, and was under the impression that my side would be permanently fixed this year. You can imagine how happy I was to learn that from Matt Thursday that the side repair was removed from the budget. I have referenced your board meeting notes from October 2nd, 2017, and they stated after review it was decided that the DPW will remove the bluestone level and add grindings until the whole block of sidewalk can be replaced next year. I realize the ideal situation was for the DPW to do all the South Street, and I'll assume that's why it was removed from the budget. However, I remind you, I was under the impression that my sidewalk was going to be poured this year. I do not want the grinding sidewalks another year. It looks terrible in front of my beautiful home. It can't be swept away after lawn mowing, and the grindings are thrown from my snow blower, which can cause damage to car driving by while I'm snow blowing. I remind this to urge the village board to please pour my concrete sidewalk this summer, as I was told it would be, and as stated in the meeting minutes and in the meeting video. The fact is, in your meeting video, it was discussed not to give her option with regards to grinding. Thank you for consideration. I'm looking forward to hearing from you, Melissa Beasley. And I have the minutes, it was discussed in the minutes, she's correct. And it was an oversight on our part, because we had intentions of doing the whole South Street, and then the budget was short, and I just didn't remember
I
that.
thought that might have been the case.
It wasn't that, you know,
It's the oil.
yeah, and you have a very valid point, and I think that it needs to be done, because we said we would. I already spoke to Matt before the meeting, and asked him to go and take a measurement and see what it would cost to do. And it's only fair, it's not your fault that we, you know, we were, so.
Also, too, I'm looking to pave my driveway, so if you're gonna do it, which I would appreciate, thank you. If I know if you're gonna go over and meet Dick's, because I'll need to know that for my paving guys, or depending on when it's gonna be done. I probably won't get paid for another month, but I don't know when the sidewalk will be done.
Yeah.
I wanna make sure I coordinate efforts.
Okay, can I meet you there at some point?
Yeah.
So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
No problem.
All right.
Okay. So we need a motion from the board. I mean, this is something we have to do.
I make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you so
All
much.
right. Thank you, I'm sorry.
No, I
Yeah,
figured
you
it was
know,
an oversight.
I knew there was something else on South Street, and it just, sometimes it just
My
doesn't.
letter, I was frustrated after I talked about it, like, oh, just like this stuff is terrible.
No, I understand. And I know because I had some stones in mine and the snow blower blew them up too. I know
Yeah.
you're talking about.
Yeah.
So we'll get to it.
Thank you.
Okay.
This summer, right? All right, so,
Yeah.
I don't know how to get in touch with you, I can just call yours.
Yeah, you got the number?
Oh, I'll call
All
you.
right.
I'll call you, yeah. Call Misty and we'll get it.
Yeah, that's
very
easy.
much.
All right.
What's that?
That's easy, so I just
Okay.
call here.
All right,
Okay.
thank you. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
That's it. Anything else
I
from
don't
Matt?
have anything else.
No? Thank you, Matt.
Well,
Thanks, Matt.
Last but certainly not least,
Why, thank you.
Were there any questions on my report?
What report?
The one I sent to you on the 4th of July.
I did acknowledge that.
You did, yes, so I know you got it. The plant, knock on wood, has been running very well. Kraft just had a shutdown, a maintenance shutdown last week, so I haven't heard that it's blown up since they started back up, so that's a good thing. Flows are down right now, so like Matt said, we don't know if that manhole is the king of fixes, but we will know, I'm sure, when the leaves start dropping, the trees stop sucking water, we're gonna know, so. I do have a few requests this month. We did budget for parking lot repairs at the plant. I reached out to numerous contractors and got one solid quote back from Webster's. I would request that the board authorize me to get things rolling and get scheduled. Their quote was for $62.57 and we budgeted $7,000. This would be with, I'd have to schedule with Matt so the DPW guys could mill out the parking lot, and then Webster's will come in and finish up. That was a $22 or $2,400 option, I think, for Webster's to do that work. That is a 50-50 split with New York City.
And is this 62 the entire quote?
Yep.
And-
Yeah, they're the way they wrote their quote, I don't know if you saw it, it was a little confusing, but option one was for them to do everything. And that was gonna be $62.57 plus $22.40.
Right.
So for them to come in and, well, I'm sorry, no, it'll be $62.57 plus $2.40 a ton for blacktop, and they're figuring 6 tons of material. So you're looking at another $1,200. And that's an approximate, could be
So
less.
You're looking for a motion to spend that 50% of the 6257.
Right.
I'll make the motion.
And the
you make the
city,
motion?
Second.
and the city
All in
would
favor?
pick up the other half.
Opposed? Carried.
The second item on my list is for purchase of a Rosemont Clarity 2 sensor from USA Blue Book in the amount of $1,778. That's 100% New York City expense. This is for a sensor on our turbidity meter. One of the turbidity meters, we had one fail and we used our shelf unit, so this one will replace the unit on the shelf. It is 100% New York City expense.
Need a motion for that?
Easy one. I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Lastly, we had a request from Ron Huntress, who now owns Ron's John's, Porta John business here in town.
Ron's John, that sounds
Yep.
good.
So he'd like to bring his waste to the plant and have a agreement here. Just looking for the mayor you guys to give the mayor authorization to sign it, and we'll accept it at a rate of 5 cents per gallon.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
That's it.
Very much.
Quantities and stuff on that are fine with DEP, DEC. There's not gonna be much of a quantity anyways.
It's minimal. We pretty much just mimicked Gary Brooks's agreement because it's,
Same thing.
yeah.
They need, with the paving and sealing, do they need to coordinate with the other traffic coming in and out of the place?
We will. We'll get it figured out. Typically in the past, they did it on Saturdays,
Oh,
but that was when House Paving did it. They're not in business anymore, so I know Webster's does work on Saturdays, but it'd basically just be coordinating with the county for leachate, and it's dry, so that's relatively easy right now, and then it'd be Delton for our sludge removal, so we can,
Especially in leachate, we don't want to lose that because that's money.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
yeah, and probably, I would imagine once it's sealed, if they say they do it on a Saturday, we'd hold them off until Tuesday, and right now that's what their schedule is anyway. They're closed on Mondays, and then we have a good time for it to cure, and then the truck doesn't rip it up, so.
Okay, great.
That's it.
Thank you.
thanks, Jason.
Thanks.
All right, trustee reports. Well, Dave, I won't bother you, just got in
I
here.
got stuff. I've been into it.
Do you?
The theater
Wow.
preservation committee is meeting next on the 17th at 4:30 at the theater. They're talking about a fair booth and all that. I get music on the Delaware and the theater preservation mixed up because it's a lot of the same people doing similar things. Jim Rice met with some of us about the new security system that they've installed and all the locks and motion detectors and things following the break-in some months back.
And they found that somebody was living there.
Maybe that's it for now.
Okay, thank you. Steve Conlon.
Hey there, Mr. Mayor. I got a little report here from Brian from up on the recreations. They opened the pool up on the 18th. Overall, he said the weather's been good and the pool's been very busy. They got swimming lessons and basketball, tennis, and arts and crafts. They began that program on the 2nd of July. They currently have 215 children signed up for swimming lessons. First session, which ends on the 13th of this month, and then 20 are signed up for basketball, 10 for tennis, and about 60 for arts and crafts, which he says usually is more than that during the day. They did have the health inspector come and gave everything really good. It was everything all passed. Everything was fine. There's a couple more people that we want to add on. Talking with Brian right now up there, they're short on lifeguards. And a couple of them that are working are into overtime and working a lot of days. So we just happened to get 4 applications today for kids who want to do lifeguarding. Pending they get their certification for lifeguards, which they're working on right now. They're getting their certification done. So Brian was going to ask if we could tentatively put these 4 on the payroll of $10.40 an hour as the other kids. And once they get their certification, they can become lifeguards and they can work for us. Because right now they're probably going to be cheaper for us to put full-time people on there, or I should say part-timers in there, than to pay the ones we have now overtime and working them to death. So that's a request from Brian for right now.
Need a motion for that.
Motion. Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
All right, I'll let Brian know on that. And John Brooks, he's the one that does the arts and crafts and stuff. They're going to use him as a part-time or substitute weekend supervisor because a couple of them are going to be around a couple of weekends, so he'll be agreed to come over and do that. And Brian's daughter's been up there volunteering some time too because she wants to become a lifeguard here in another year or so. So she's been up there volunteering, doing a little learning, a little helping. So she's been up there doing that too. And that's it for now.
Thank you. Is there anything with you?
No, nothing. She took care of it.
Steve?
No, we covered the cataclysmic building collapsing on Bruce Street. We got to get rid of that. And, the entire village has been up in arms over the potholes in CVS, so I'm glad that they scraped them all down to nothing, because I myself even broke a tire rod in there the other day.
And Steve's defense, he sent out a letter a while ago. He talked to the man, you know that, he talked to the manager,
Yes.
he spoke to the district manager, we've done everything we can.
The entire village gets the same letter.
Yeah.
Every year they get a
year.
hole, and every year they gotta fix the hole. I don't care who it is. And I don't know why we go through this all, let's say, oh, you hate my guts, you sent me a letter, and this business is getting nothing. Everybody got a letter.
Everybody, anybody had a pothole, got a letter.
And here we are on July
9th.
Yeah.
Okay. Point taken. Okay, mayor's report. I have two things I wanted. One I already took care of. This one here. Dear Board of Trustees, this letter is to inform you of my intentions to retire in July. The exact date will be dependent on the New York State retirement system. With regret, I will not be able to continue my 31 years of service to the village due to health issues. I have enjoyed working for the village. Roger Hoyt. I think it's July 19th is the day he's gone. How we would normally handle this is we would look internally first. If nothing, then we'll put out in the paper ads to look for somebody. But we're going to start looking around now. Oh yeah, I need a motion to accept the
Make the
resignation.
motion to accept it with deep regret. Roger's been a wonderful employee.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. The next one, dear Walton Village Board, hello. I hope the summer is treating you well. Time is going by so fast, and before we know it, fall will be here. I am writing in regards to hanging football signs around the town on poles. I know it must go down before the board. I would like to get the signs hung up right after fair ends this year, and we remove them immediately following the varsity football season. If you have any questions, please give me a call. Thank you for your time. Kimberly Jacobs. She did this the last couple of years, and she's been taking them down, so.
Make a motion to allow.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I can't believe it's that time already.
Okay. Okay. Number 6, car cruise. They may have snow, the Walton Lions Club will be sponsoring the annual car cruise event on August 4th, 2018. The parade will start at 6 p.m. The parade will start at the fairgrounds. It will go up Route 206 to the pull-off, turn around, return to Bridge Street. We will make a left, go through the village, make a right on 206 to Old Prospect Loop, where we will turn around. We will then proceed to Route 10 to the old ice house, where again to turn around and return to the village. We will then proceed to Bridge Street, turn at Water Street, and end at the village parking lot behind the laundromat near Veterans Plaza. George Ostrowski, Secretary, Walton Lions Club. They did that last year. Everything seemed to go good, but I need a motion.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Okay. Next thing. We have the budget amendments, right?
Yep.
We have the 2017-2018 budget amendments that we all got copies of. We need a motion for that.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. The next thing is, my glasses, my eyes are getting bad sometimes. Dear Mayor Snow and Village Board members, on December 28, 2017, we purchased the property at 100 St. John Street. Since then, all other utilities have been canceled and disconnected. The houses are torn down and buried, so no houses can be built on the property. Therefore, we would like the water and sewer bills stopped. These utilities were shut off years ago. A complete boundary line adjustment has been completed. There is no longer 100 St. John Street. The property is now 94 St. John Street. Thank you, Lester Darling and Lily Darling. Well, the house is down. They did make it all one Peter, one property, so they want that just.
I had talked with Matt too, and all the services were stubbed off the way they're supposed to be, so there's really no laterals or anything there anymore.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Okay.
Is he live? the consolidated property? That's where his residence is?
Yeah, right, yeah, he was right there. He bought, I think, the next two properties down, they ripped it down and put them all together.
He did that with the other part too.
Okay, the next one. Dear board members, we received our utility bill on July 2nd, a bill that has always ranged from $200 to $300, was a shocking $2,646. Evidently, there was a great deal of water usage starting from 3/22. I checked the house immediately upon receiving the bill and could find no leaks or running water. I was told by Ms. Phoenix that the usage returned to normal use the first week in May. The owner of the house is disabled with income of $1,000 a month. Paying this entire bill in full is not possible, and having water shut off would mean that both he and an elderly tenant would be displaced. We are hoping that you will be able to help. Sincerely, Dana Garrett, Vicky, Jane Garrett, and Vicky Universal. So
Did they determine what the problem was? I mean, was the water just left on, or?
it was just left on. There's no breaks. There's no nothing. And all the water did go through the sewer. It wasn't that.
Right, they're not asking.
It was out. I think what, if I'm not mistaken, Lizzie, I think what they're looking for is if we would give them time to pay it off. Payment plan.
Yeah, well, I could motion to let them have payments.
We need to sign.
But we need to have like,
Well,
a time like 6 months
Doesn't
or
the
something.
clerk have a schedule? I think she has a schedule for, we've done this once
Sounds remotely
before
familiar.
in
I
my
think.
tenure.
I don't know if she has a set schedule. I believe it's made when
We made
an
it at the
occurrence
meeting.
happens.
Okay.
We discussed at the meeting.
At the discretion of the board.
How much was the
Yes.
price? How much are they on?
$2,646.
It's a nice, I don't mean nice, I mean, it's a high bill.
Well, it's a big chunk of change for everyone to think that it's a UFO, you know. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I know, I get it.
Well, that's what I was asking, how, you know, because if she said they checked and there's no leaks, it makes you wonder what happened.
What does the letter say about the person that lives there, the income or something?
The owner of the house is disabled with an income of about $1,000 a month. Paying the entire bill is not possible.
Right.
Both he and an elderly tenant would be displaced, so there's probably some woman that's paying rent there besides her. There's two people there.
The letter's not from the owner? Someone wrote the letter for him?
James
Gavitt
James Gavin,
is the owner.
he's the owner.
And it's written by this
James and
Vicky.
Vicky.
James and Vicky and, yeah.
So now do we have to worry about the landlord having a power of attorney and in danger? Is this guy like,
He's disabled. He's my wife's uncle, and Vicky's my mother-in-law. He has a tenant in there, and basically it could have been there. It's a newer tenant, so the prior tenant could have left the water running. Anything. They aren't. I mean,
and he wouldn't have known.
Right. So and
It could have been running for weeks and weeks and weeks upstairs and running toilet running and.
probably what's gonna. I mean, he may end up selling the property and make you whole sooner than the payments due. But
Well, it's good that you said something, because my snapshot is that there's a disabled person who owns a property and has a power of attorney, that normally that's like abuse and neglect, and the guys, you know what I mean?
no, he lives there and he's an occupant of it. He's got a disability, but no, he's not being abused. And then there's a tenant on the side. So again, with the turnover, I don't know if it was just left on or what, but no evidence of a leak or anything, so that's why she didn't write for relief on the sewer charge, because I talked to her about that, but it's just trying to structure the payment so he can afford it.
Like something like 6 months, 8 months?
I mean, without giving us more than we need, is 6 months enough, Paul? Ballpark? No, I mean, there's nothing sacred about 6 months, I'm just throwing it out there.
We'll go for 6 months, and if there's another issue, you can come
Not to
back.
exceed 12.
Well, we want to keep it within.
Within the budget year, that's right. So, what do you have?
That's what I'm thinking.
8 months or something? I mean,
June 1st,
When's the
we start
fiscal
June
year?
1st.
May 31st.
May
6
30.
months.
So by, 6 months should do it.
Yeah. Because again, my impression is that.
But they also have to keep up with the
Yeah, the
present
current one
bills.
too, so it says,
They can't not pay
so we'll give them 6 months?
Yeah, because then otherwise it goes on the taxes and
Oh,
then it
yeah, no,
becomes a big
no,
problem.
no. That's-
Yeah, all right, so you're
I
making a
make a
motion?
motion for 6 months.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All- Okay.
And if something, if it's not clicking, just let them, don't wait till the end to let us.
No, and I'm sure it'll get some way though.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. All right, number 10. National Village Board. In April this year, we turned our water services on to begin our year's activity. I was notified soon after by Village Clerk Jody Brown of a large leak from one of our 3 meters. We were unable to initially find the leak, but after some time, the leak surfaced, and we were able to make the necessary repairs. We are currently seeking grant opportunities to rectify this from happening again by replacing 1,000 feet of 4-inch water main. I would like to thank both Jody and Matt from DPW for their help in locating and stopping the leak. I'm writing to you today to request an adjustment in our $10,545.45 water bill to exclude the sewer use charges as the leak was located about 6 foot underground on the midway side of the fairgrounds, and none of this leak entered the sewer system. Thank you for your attention. Respectfully, Jason Craig. Misty did a research on this, on the both bills. One bill would be, reduction would be $2,043.49, and the other one would be $1,527.59 sewer cost. So that's the portion that we could forgive on the bill.
357108.
357108.
That's what it comes to. I'll make the motion.
Need a second on that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. And that's it for this. We will have to go into executive session. We got a couple of administrative things to talk about, personnel. Thank you, everyone.